It's time to grow and scale your coaching business the impact-driven, simple and sustainable way. Welcome to Rising Coaches with Sofia Bernardi. I'm your host, Sofia, mindset and business coach, supporting ambitious new and rising coaches to master their mindset, create an aligned and profitable strategy, and grow a six-figure business and beyond using the Rising Coach method. I built $1 million business by the age of 26 in under 4 years, and I've coached hundreds across the globe to build incredible businesses that create freedom and fulfillment whilst having a whole lot of fun along the way. And in this podcast, I will teach you the mindset, strategy, and energetics to do the same. Let's dive in. Where do I even begin? It has been a huge month. Welcome to Rising Coaches with Sofia Bernardi. Today I am taking you behind the scenes into my March 2024 goals update. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, linked below is the original podcast episode that I did at the beginning of the year, sharing that I was going to be doing a monthly segment on the podcast, taking you behind the scenes very transparently into each month where I break down my big 2024 goals. So I'll link below that original episode plus the previous monthly update episodes too, so you can get up to date. Now, I just listened to last month's episode for a bit of a refresh for me before diving in to today, and it was really interesting to listen to and see how much has shifted and also things that have not shifted at all, which is a little disappointing, but I'm going to be sharing that all with you today. So this is a really big episode. I'm also going to be really transparent and share that I am in the middle of so much change that this is probably going to be a chaotic episode. I really try to be organized and structured, and I do very well at that more often than not. And so whilst there's definitely structure to this episode, I am also just in the middle of so much transition and so many shifts right now that it's probably going to sound like a lot, because it is, but it's probably a lot more so in my head than it will be as I share it out loud. But nonetheless, I'm here to share it all with you. The other thing I want to share with you is that it is currently the 23rd of March as I record this. This episode is dropping on the 26th of March. And so as you can hear, there is still one more week left of March, but I always drop these episodes on the very last Tuesday of every month. So there's still a week left of this month, to be honest, at the time of recording this, and a lot can happen in a week, which is really annoying because I like to do these episodes as close to the end of the month because I'm just always moving forwards and I move at rapid speed. And so much has shifted in the last week alone. I can't imagine what's going to happen in the next week, but I'm just going to have to update you on all of that in next month's episode. So just wanted to share that. Maybe I should even start dropping these just at once the entire month is over. So really the episode for the previous month will be happening in the new month. Does that make sense? So for example, I should probably be dropping this episode in April so I can record it after all of March is finished. Maybe I'll do that moving forwards, but for now, we're just going to roll with this. I just worked that out as I said it out loud. But anyways, there's a week left, and look, a lot will change and improve and update in that week alone. But nonetheless, I'm just going to update you on this first 23 days of the month. So March has been a big one. In February, I told you that everything was amazing. I had a huge sales month in my business, and making lots of progress in all the areas of my life and all my goals, all which was very true. And it's amazing how much can shift with making a decision or a few different decisions. And so whilst this month has all in all been positive, it's been big. This is probably going to be a hugely impactful month in terms of changing the trajectory of the rest of this year, which is all positive. The equal part of that is it's extremely uncomfortable. It's a messy middle. It's emotional. It's a bit of a roller coaster in my brain and externally, and it is what it is. And so whilst it's ultimately very, very positive, it's been very, very hard and overwhelming and frustrating all at once. And this is going to make more sense as I share it all. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've felt 50% of my body be excited, happy, over the moon, and see the positive side, and then 50% of me be overwhelmed, frustrated, stuck, blah, blah, blah. Like it's a literal 50-50 split. And as every day goes by, it becomes more so on the positive side than there is the negative. And there's the biggest part of me though knows that even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's messy, even though, 50% of me is finding this really hard, like all of me knows that this is all positive, if that makes sense. So I hope that sort of articulates exactly how I felt this month. So let me just very quickly summarize. My 2024 goals are to have a 600K cash year, to weigh 65 kilos, go on weekly date nights and quarterly weekend getaways with my partner, invest $100,000 in shares, save $200,000, and have 30,000 podcast downloads on this podcast. Let's dive in. Okay, so the 600K cash goal. We are on track. We reached the threshold that I need to earn for this month in order to be on track. So we did over $52,000, nearly $53,000, but again, we still have a week left. So it's probably going to be significantly more than that if I'm completely honest. So we had 2 new members join the mastermind. We had 1 member whose time was due to resign. She resigned. We had 3 or 4 people join Rise to Coach, and one of those people also purchased my course Rise with Events. I had 1 person pay me to do a masterclass for her program, and I also had someone purchase a VIP spot for one of my recent workshops I did, and I had someone purchase 4 one-on-one sessions from me, a previous existing, one-on-one client. So I honored that. And so, yeah, it's been interesting to see all the different facets of where the income has come from. And it's been, really beautiful. And more importantly than all of that, like they're all incredible people, both men and women, majority women, just incredible clients I've onboarded. I'm so, so grateful. So yeah, the 600K cash year is off to a good start. I will be honest though and share that a lot of that is in sales. So that I suppose that's not really contributing to the cash, but that cash will have come through all of this year, if that makes sense. So I'm just going with the sales because that's how my business runs. So when I say sales, I mean, for example, let's just say hypothetically my program is $1,000 a month for 6 months. So it's $6,000. And if someone decides to join, they pay $1,000. The sale is $6,000, but the cash collected is $1,000 because I got $1,000 for that first month, and then there's $5,000 more to come. So when I say these figures, I'm talking about sales, so it's going to come within the next 6 to 12 months, if that makes sense. So whilst my goal is a cash goal, this income, the over like the $53,000 in sales, will have come in before the year wraps up. So that's why I'm working with those figures, because that's a more accurate representation of truly what's going to be coming in. So yeah, we did over nearly 53,000, still a week to go. So we'll definitely be over that by the end of March. And this is not including any existing reoccurring revenue that's coming. This is like new money, if that makes sense. So really, really happy about that. Pretty sure roughly the goal to be on track for the 600K is like I needed to be at 40 something. I should know that, but I don't off the top of my head right now. And so yeah, we've surpassed it. So really, really happy about that. What worked was obviously I have a really high retention rate for my mastermind members because I really support them so deeply. And, just having great offers in general, like the reason why people purchase, one-on-one sessions or masterclasses or my Rise with Events course or Rise to Coach or the mastermind is because the offers are really great in comparison to the price point. So having great offers always works. And then I recently wrapped up a workshop that I did a couple of weeks ago, and it went really well. And that's where a lot of these sales came from. So it was a lot of fun. And we're still in that launch, which is why I know that this figure will be definitely different by the time we're in April. So yeah, what I'll do differently though, this is where I start to explain the shit show that's been going on. So I have not been very present for this launch, and that's why I'm really grateful for this figure. So honestly, like more recently I've been doing 6-figure launches, like where I generate over $100,000. And so this is actually a lot less than usual. And if I'm being completely honest, it's just because I have not been there for the launch. I have not showing up. I'm not saying we can't generate over 6 figures. There's a good chance that we will. I have a lot of people that, have said yes, but I don't count it until they've actually joined. Like they've said specific dates that they've decided to lock in for, but until that money comes through, I really don't count it, to be honest. So there's a good chance we will hit over 6 figures for the launch. However, I have really not been present for the launch. I have not shown up nearly at the capacity that I would recommend my clients do, or that I hold for the standard that I usually do. And that's just because there has been a lot going on in my business, a lot of things behind the scenes that I'm not trying to lead you on here. I will explain it. I'm just, got to work my way up to that. And so if I'm honest, like what hasn't worked about this 600K cash goal this month, even though we've passed the threshold and definitely on track, is that I just haven't been very present. Because of everything that's been going on. And so what I would do differently next month is have a very fucking simplified business model, which we are already halfway into the works of, and just mastering one thing rather than reinventing the wheel all of the time. So that's kind of what I have to say about those figures and that goal. Now, let me share with you, because it's mostly business related, so I'll address it here whilst I'm speaking about the business goal, what has been going on this month. So I'm not in a position to be able to tell you everything right now. I'll have to tell you next month. But essentially, I made a decision in the beginning of this month, to make a change within my business model. And I'm not trying to keep anything. It's just that it involves another person. So I'm going to share that next month with you. And basically, I made a decision in the business, and it's a decision that is a business decision. It's not a personal decision. It's not an emotional decision. It's a business decision. And it was and is the right decision. And things can be the right decision and a good decision and still be incredibly difficult. And for whatever reason, and there would be a lot of deeper reasonings for this, this decision was extremely difficult for me and required me to do a lot of healing and have a lot of support. I've done a lot of breathwork sessions. I've done a lot of speaking to people that I respect and value and I know want the best for you and me, and can advise me on things. And I've had a lot of people help me in the making of this decision to even have the courage and confidence to do so. And when I made this decision, and I apologize if this is not making very much sense right now, but it's important that I speak to certain people before I address things on the podcast, if that makes sense. Making this decision was incredibly difficult. And when I made the decision, everything shifted for me. And it was one of those things, like the way I visualize it is there was this blocked drain. And when I got rid of the block, all of these other things came flooding out of like opportunities of things to change and do and shift and whatever. And it wasn't necessarily because of that one situation, and more so the block that I had internally about making that decision, and through doing the inner work to get to a place where I felt like I could do it. Then all of a sudden I was like, well, while we've just made this really big business decision, what else can we do? So nothing's bad here, nothing's wrong, there's no legal thing, it's nothing like that. It's not even that big of a deal probably to many people, but for me, there was just a lot of people pleasing, fears, blocks internally for me that I had to go through. So just wanted to clarify that there's nothing like actually wrong with the business. It was simply a decision, and for whatever reason, it was a big deal to me. So anyways, I made that decision, and then I had a pretty emotional, flat week after I made that decision. That was early March. So really only a couple of weeks ago, I really did not have a good week. I did not feel good, yet I'm still a CEO of my business. I still have clients to support. So I moved forwards. No one would have even known, because I know how to separate things. And that's really important when you're a CEO in a business. Like, shitty things are going to happen and you've got to keep moving forwards, and not from the lens of dismissing how you feel, but you can separate the two, and it's very important. For example, the CEO of your local supermarket doesn't just like close down shop when they're having a hard day. No, there are systems and things in place to ensure that it continues going no matter what's happening in their life or in the world. So that's that. And so the things I can tell you about is all of the decisions and thoughts that came up for me after I made that decision. All of a sudden, I was just anything that felt unaligned in my business, I was like, right, we're changing this. I have capacity to change this now. It just unblocked something in me. It was quite a magical shift, really. And so immediately I hired a brand designer who's my friend, and I love supporting, people I know and trust and respect. So I hired my friend Shani, and she redid my brand because I was just like, all of a sudden from making this decision, I've stepped into a new version of myself, and all of a sudden my current branding, these green and brown colors just did not feel like an accurate representation of me and my business and my target audience and where I'm going in this space. And so I was like, I need a rebrand. It's kind of like, when a girl goes through a breakup, she'll go chop her hair off and dye it and change everything. That's me with my brand right now. I'm like, all right, out with the old, in with the new. So hired Shani, she did my branding. I'm fucking obsessed with it, and I'm so excited to show you guys. Oh my God, so excited. So I hired her. Like, I love doing branding. I could have done it myself, and right now I just don't have capacity to do these things myself because of how many things I'm changing. So I'm like, I'm delegating. This is the month of delegating. So I paid her. She did my brand in an entire day, and I'm obsessed and so grateful. Her name's Shani Timms. Go check her out on Instagram if you want. Okay, so did that. Then I was also like, I need to upgrade my target audience, meaning I love helping new coaches, and I will forever do that. I'm always going to have a space for them, and I have a program that supports new coaches, and I'm so here to help new coaches, especially like new coaches with the right attitude and personality type of like being a go-getter, being ambitious, being committed. And I've had this massive realization from my coach that I am totally underselling myself with my level of skill set and how I can help people. I have had multiple six-figure launches, meaning I've run one event and generated over $100,000 many times. Every month I'm growing, and I'm making, a minimum of $50,000 per month, which is what some people, earn in a year. I, have helped clients to, generate 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 months in a matter of, a few weeks to a few months of working with me. I have helped people go full time and create a business that they love after years of feeling burnt out or not charging, what they really could or should be, and all of these sorts of things. I could freaking go on. And it was just a big light bulb moment for me that I'm not really articulating that as well as I could be and really owning that boldly. I'm staying in my comfort zone to quote unquote just, like, I'm not dismissing it, but just helping new coaches, when really I'm totally in a position at this point to help people that are much further along in business, because not even just what my financial result is, but honestly the way I've done it and the speed that I've done it and under the circumstances that I've done it. It's not very often someone can genuinely say, hey, I started at zero and grew this. Like, obviously we all start at zero, but as in, I don't have a marketing degree. I don't have a degree in general. I don't have a previous business experience. I haven't, none of that. There was no previous business. There was no degree. There was no business experience, nothing. I've gone into this and been able to create over 7 figures in under 4 years, and I'm 26 years old, and I don't think I own that enough. And so that was a big realization of like, hey, actually I can be charging more, and I can be targeting people at a better stage or different stage in business, which is honestly a little bit easier to work with. It's easier to work with people that are already established because those initial blocks they've overcome. They've overcome that fear of saying the price on the phone for their offer. They've overcome the fear of going live for the first time. And I'm not dismissing those feelings or situations. Hence, I will, I help new coaches, and I love helping new coaches because those are very real and valid experiences and fears. And I've been there, and that's why I help new coaches. And I think it's time that I also help people further along because I can, because I've done it. And I think I just wasn't really valuing myself and truly how far I've come. and just not owning that. And one of my mentors helped me to see that not long ago. So not only have I just changed my brand, but I'm also going to be changing a lot of my messaging, my I help statement, and therefore my offer, making it more reflective of people further along. And it is not a simple thing to change even one of those things, let alone all three at once. Like, messaging is one thing, your niche is one thing, and your offer is another. Like, my mastermind is incredible, and to change the whole core curriculum, the messaging, the marketing, the pricing, the inclusions is really scary. Another thing that's been coming up for me is I offer a lot of one-on-one support for my mastermind clients, a lot, and I love it, and that's why I offer it. And if I want to continue to grow, I cannot continue to do that at the level that I'm currently doing it at. And I also had a mentor reflect to me this week, and I've had this niggle for a while, and I've had a lot of people say it to me. They're like, I don't know how you do it, Sofia. How are you helping this many people at this capacity every week? And I don't think I realized how much I was holding until people started to say that to me. And I'm like, whoa, I actually spend half of my day replying to clients in Slack, and yet I'm still growing and scaling my business. And I somehow still have freedom and spaciousness for myself. But imagine if I structured things better in a more sustainable way, I would have even more capacity to grow and help even more people. And so I think one-on-one support is, really, really life-changing. And so my current mastermind members are not going to be losing that regardless. But I am looking at changing the structure of my mastermind so that moving forwards, new people that come in, there is no one-on-one support, or it potentially will be, and I'm speaking this out loud right in the middle of actually sorting this out. And this is what I said by this episode is going to be a bit chaotic, is I'm considering, having 2 tiers where it's like the group version, and then if you want to add on one-on-one, it's a significantly higher investment, just so that I can actually continuously grow and scale the business. And so I'm thinking of doing that. So this is also like a very transparent thing that I want to say here, which is that if you've considered joining my mastermind, I'm not kidding when I say this, I would be joining now, because this is likely something I'm going to be doing where I remove the one-on-one access, but those that are current clients in the mastermind, I will grandfather that, which means they will continue to get that. It will just be new people that don't. And so if you've considered being in my mastermind, I'm serious. I would be joining now, because there is a good chance that by the time the next monthly goals progress update episode comes out, there's a good chance that it's a significantly higher investment to have the one-on-one access of the mastermind, which is a big component of it. So that's what's been coming up with me is I actually really over deliver, but to the point that it's actually slowing me down from growing, and I enjoy it. Hence, I didn't really realize it was a problem for so long. But all of a sudden, like I said, with all these shifts, it's just coming up for me now of like, whoa, I need to teach my clients to have so much, and most of my clients do, but I really want to help my clients to have so much initiative and trust themselves and be able to make decisions and not need me right there in that second in order to move forwards. And I will totally be there, but in a more sustainable capacity. So, changing the brand, changing the message, changing the I help statement, changing the offer structure, and therefore the pricing, the inclusions, and the core curriculum inside. I'm even potentially changing my method. Oh my God. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot. It might sound like not a lot, but I promise you it's a lot. And everyone that is my friend that knows this, or mentors, they're like, yeah, this is a lot. So changing a lot of things. And so to have had this level of quote unquote success from this launch, despite actually really not putting much time a day into it, other than the people that have come to me inquiring about it, is pretty fucking phenomenal. So I can only imagine where I'd be if I was prioritizing it, but I've just had to detach and let it go a little bit. I'm like, I run launches all the time. It doesn't matter. This is a great result. And right now I need to focus on getting these ducks in a row to make next month easier and the month after that even easier, and so forth. On top of that, I have a new team member, an ads manager. He's amazing. He's helping me so much. And that's been a big role that we've been discussing and playing with and figuring out and adjusting the team accordingly for that. And it's also a lot because I've never done Facebook ads before. It's a very new thing in my world this year. And yeah, but it's working really well from what we've done. And we haven't even really gone full out in it yet because we've been just making all these changes at once. But from what we have done, it's worked phenomenally. And I'm really grateful for that. So I'm probably missing some things there, but just so you know, there's a lot going on when it comes to the 600K cash goal. And so whilst this is a lot and it's going to take me time to execute all of this, I'm delegating like crazy. You know, I've got a virtual assistant. She's taking on a much bigger role right now. I've got my ads manager. He's, you know, stepping in so much more. I delegated my branding. I've just hired someone to then take that branding and put it all on the website, which is a big job that I love doing and could do, but don't have capacity for it right now. So I'm just hiring people to help me so I can move forwards. I've also got another coach right now that is honestly so amazing and is helping me at the deepest level. And I'm just in this phase of learning. So yeah, some of the things I've learned, honestly, I could talk about it for hours. It's actually quite insane. And I'm still processing it all, but all I'm saying is my business model is going to simplify, not just with the one-on-one stuff, but actually with, I'm no longer going to be doing different events all of the time. I'm actually stripping it back and I'm just going to be doing the same one over and over again. Things could change, you know, but that's really the direction I'm going in at this point. I'm making tweaks rather than changing it all the time, which is going to make my life and my team's life so much better, and the results will be better as well. So I actually think that the things that have been happening this month is going to mean that this is a bold statement, but I think there's a chance I could double my cash goal for this year. Like, we're making some big moves. I think double is really scary, so who knows? But like the things that the numbers we're talking about and projecting and creating and the changes we're making, honestly, like big things are going to happen. I'm so excited, and it's so cool to be in a place where I can say that with a lot of conviction. Of course, there's no guarantees, who knows, but I'm really feeling that. And even I got a video from my accountant last week, and she was like, you do not understand how good your numbers are. You have nearly doubled your profit margin in the last 12 months and all of these things. And I was like, wow, I am underselling myself. I don't know what is wrong with me. Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to dabble on any more there, but as you can hear, there's a lot going on. So stay tuned for quite a number of shifts if you want to stay on this journey. And if you've got any questions about this, like, just message me on Instagram. I'm at Sofia Rose Bernardi. I'm so here to talk about it. And if you're a client, you can also reach out as well, because I understand that you would want to understand these things more. And I just wanted to be transparent on the journey rather than one day, like, everything's the same and the next day everything's so different. Instead, I'm just going to take you very presently along this ride. So, yeah. I'm dedicated to providing you with as much valuable free content as possible to help you to grow and scale your coaching business sustainably. That's why I'm constantly rolling out new resources and events for you. To ensure that this podcast stays fresh with the latest offerings, I've compiled all our current free and paid offerings in one convenient place. Simply head over to www.sofiarosebernardi.com/links or follow me on Instagram at Sofia Rose Bernardi for the latest offerings. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, and let's get back to the episode. So, yeah, that's that. Whew. Okay, goal number 2 is to weigh 65 kilos. Honestly, I think I'm being a bit hard on myself, but I'm just going to say that I didn't progress as much as I would have liked to. And the reason why I'm saying I'm a bit hard on myself is because, you know, there's a chance that I put on muscle and lost weight, and I just don't 100% know that right now. And so all I care about right now is that I look and feel good. Like, I like the way that I look. I do like my body. I'm feeling confident. But in terms of the scale, oh my God, it's not moving that much. It's very slow. And sure, there's probably all sorts of reasons why that is. But at the same time, I just think with everything that's been going on this month, I'm just going to be honest and say weight loss has not been the top of my mind. Business has. But I still have been going to the gym most days of the week and bike riding and walking. But I think the problem is, and this is why I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm kind of disappointed with the lack of progress in some ways, because in the last month's episode, I said that I don't want the gym to replace walking. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't been walking and going to the gym every day or 5 times a week or whatever. Like sometimes it's been one or the other, and I really want to do both. I think that's going to make the biggest difference. And I think despite having gone to the gym a lot, I'm not really pushing myself in the workouts. I'm just sort of like doing them or things like that. And I don't like that. So I was about to say I hope next month is different, but I'm about to house sit for 6 weeks. And so I'm flying to Adelaide in 2 days' time. Hence I'm recording this podcast now. And I'm going to be away for 2 weeks for Easter, and then I'm house sitting for 5 weeks. So yeah, I'm actually, the next 7 weeks, I'm not going to be at the gym, pause my gym membership. And so I won't be able to go to the gym. So it's going to take me a couple months before I can really learn this lesson, and I'm going to have to go back to just walking every day and running, and that's okay. I actually really enjoy that. And so I'm really disappointed that this month I didn't really honor walking and gym every day, or more often than not. Like it was usually one or the other, and that is a contributing factor why I think I haven't moved too much on the scales as well. But I am proud that I did. It's not like I didn't do either of them consistently. Like I've still been moving my body consistently, but I just think I could be working harder or pushing myself harder rather than just dabbling a little bit or just being done rather than truly focusing on the details. So hopefully that makes sense. So didn't progress as much. I'm going to be walking a lot and going for some runs, and maybe when I'm in Sunshine Coast, house sitting for those 5 weeks with my family and friends, which I'm so excited about. Maybe I could purchase some gym classes at a gym there or something like that. So yeah, I really do hope that next month I'm saying that there was progress and I'm still feeling good. But all in all, I'm feeling good, and that's what matters. Goal number 3, weekly date nights and quarterly weekend trips with my man. That's something I'm so grateful for. My relationship with Geordie is like the most important thing in my life, and our relationship is thebomb.com. I love him to bits, and I'm very, very grateful, and our relationship has been so solid. And so we've been doing our weekly date nights, and we went on our quarterly trip. So if you listened to last month's episode, I shared that we had every quarter we go away, and we had booked something, but we hadn't gone. We went last week, and it was so much fun. Oh my God, I'm so happy. So loved that. Love him. It's the best. What worked about that was definitely having the reminders in my calendar of plan the quarterly trip and date night every Friday and so forth. So yeah, that was really good. So what I would do differently is honestly nothing. It's perfect. Next goal number 4 is 100K in shares. I haven't invested my monthly amount in the shares this month, and honestly, it's not my fault, but because I have been waiting for the bank to set up a trust bank account so that I can do that. I don't pay myself a very big wage at all. My accountants are making me change that, so that's going to change. I just don't spend money on myself personally, to be honest, other than bills. So majority of my money is in my company bank account, and I can't just spend that on shares without it being through a trust bank account. So I'm waiting for that account to be set up so I can do it, as I don't have that amount of money in my personal account to invest in it that I want to use. So I'm all the money is trapped in the company. So unless I pay myself a bigger wage or take out a dividend or a payout or whatever, which I'm not doing just yet, I just need to wait for this bank account to be set up. But what I am going to do, because the month is not over for me, I've still got a week. On Monday, I'm calling the bank and I'm following up with them so they can get their shit together so I can set up that account and invest in the shares. So if I don't manage to do it in time this month, I'm just going to be investing double next month. So I'm not worried about it, but it's annoying that I can't say that I've done it yet. And it's annoying that it's sat on my to-do list all month. That drives me absolutely up the wall, but it is what it is. But either way, I don't care, in the sense that it is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, haven't done that. Whew. Okay, we're nearly there, guys. 2 more goals. The next goal was to save 200K for the year. Honestly, I had a really great call with my accountant, and everything's really good. And yeah, I am, she told me that literally my profit margin has almost doubled since last year. So I am making a lot more than I'm spending. So, that savings goal is on track. So I can't say it's like I've saved 200K for me personally, but the business absolutely is. So yeah, that's good. But when I start paying myself more and so forth, I'll be able to create personal savings, I suppose, too. And then the podcast. So the podcast goal was to reach 30,000 podcast downloads this year, and we're halfway there. I would like to progress faster with that because I'm counting views overall. So we're halfway there, and I just really want there to be more. And so promoting it more, I'm going to prioritize it more, speak about it more, and I'm going to be collaborating with more people. So something that did work this month is I've collaborated with 7 people. How good's that? And I am making a change though. So at the moment, I've been doing 1 episode on a Tuesday and 1 episode on a Thursday. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm taking away the episode on the Thursday, the little 5-minute ones. I love them, but it's really difficult to record 2 episodes a week and sustain that, especially whilst I've got all these things going on. Like, I have the time, I just don't have the capacity, like the energy to do it when there's so many other things that are a priority. And because I'm not seeing it make the world's biggest difference, it's just not something I can do right now. I'm not saying I'll never bring it back or I won't upload bonus episodes, but right now I'm just going to focus on simplicity. That is my fucking word right now, is simplify, simplify, simplify. Even though that was my word last year, it's ramped up again this year. And my word for this year is intentional, and I'm being very intentional, and it's not feeling aligned to have 2 episodes a week right now with everything going on. And this really came up for me when, as you know, I'm about to house sit for 5 weeks in a couple of weeks' time. And I was like, oh my God, I have to record 10 episodes before, or more even, before I go house sitting, because I'm not going to bring my podcast microphone there, and I want the quality and the standard to look the same. And I was like, whoa, I do not have capacity right now to record 10 episodes. So I'm not just removing it just because I'm house sitting, but it just brought up that feeling of like, I'm trying to force something and I don't want to force it. I love the podcast. I have capacity to film or record 1 episode a week, and it's ruining my vibe to have to do 2 and think of so many new ideas. So I'm sorry, it's temporarily leaving. So that's a thing of the past right now. But I don't see how it's not seeming to make the biggest difference in the world to the podcast views. So instead, I'm just going to double down on promoting that 1 episode for the week instead of promoting 2. And what I'll do differently, again, just to finish off with the disappointment of not progressing as much as I wanted, but as you can probably hear from this episode, it's kind of fucking valid. But I said in last month's episode, I wanted to create a system so I can reach out to a certain amount of people every week to collaborate with, and I haven't done that. I have collaborated with 7 people, but I don't have a system where like every Monday I am reaching out to X number of people and setting up new collaborations. Like, I'm not doing that, and I want to do that. So that's going to fucking happen. It's on my list so that it happens, so I can collaborate with more people, which will not only grow my podcast, but just grow my platform in general. That was a big episode, guys. Sorry for the word vomit. I hope that makes sense. And I would really appreciate it if you reached out to me and just sharing like, hey, I listened to the episode, or any feedback, any thoughts, any questions, because it's going to really help me to know if you even like this. If you don't like this, I'm not going to do it, right? So it's like, I need to hear that this was helpful in some shape or form, because it makes sense in my head, but I don't know if it makes sense in your head. But overall, in a nutshell, a lot happened this month. I made some really big decisions in my business. I'm really changing things so that I can grow and scale. And that looks like being in the messy middle. And the reason why I'm so confidently sharing all of this with you as I'm in it is because this is not wrong. This is not bad. Everyone, if they're honest with themselves, like makes changes in their business or has dips or goes backwards so that they can propel forward. All business owners do it. I surround myself with 6, multi-6 and 7 and 8 figure business owners. They all have gone through these periods. Some far worse than me. Some people have shut their business to the ground and started again. That's not what I'm doing. I'm amplifying what I'm currently doing and stripping back what isn't serving me, but I'm not having income dips, if that makes sense. Like there's a really strong, consistent revenue. Everything's still moving forwards. Clients are fucking smashing it out the park. We're bringing in new people every month. It's all positive. It's just that sometimes that's messy. It's going to be messy before it feels clean and simple. And as long as because I know it's normal, because I surround myself with people that say this and do this and experience this, I'm not making this wrong. And that's how I'm able to move forwards despite it feeling like a shit show. And I know for some of you listening, like you want things things to feel right and feel perfect and feel aligned before you can take action. And that's not the reality. That is not the reality, my friends, of what business is like. Usually it's a shit show. And I'm not saying it's meant to just feel like chaotic all the time. Definitely not. Like 99% of the time, my business feels very simple and clean and put together. But if you're in a growing season, if you want to grow, if you want to go from where you are now to the next level, that's going to get uncomfortable, because anything you do out of your comfort zone is going to feel yuck. And so it feels yuck, and I'm in 100% trust that it's all positive. And I was sharing this transparently with some of my clients this week, who are going through these like growth pains or misalignment. And I was saying to them, like, it'd be one thing for me to be in a great place and tell you, hey, it's fine, you just do this, and you don't care and detach, and it's normal and fine. And it's another for me to be right there with you in this phase and be able to tell you that, because I'm in it and I want to run away from it, and I'm not, because I know that it's normal and I know that it's positive. And my clients so appreciated me sharing that, because it normalized it for them. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, be happy and positive when you're in a great place. But when you're in a not great place and you're able to say that, that's a whole nother thing. And that's the season I'm in right now. It feels messy, and I'm okay with it, because ultimately I know that that's positive. So I hope that little golden nugget of wisdom really helps you if you're in one of those growing seasons, that if you change your perspective on what that actually means about you, your business in the future, then that's where the growth happens. If you can look for the learnings and you take action, you're going to have incredible results. And so whilst it's been a mess, I'm actually so motherfucking excited. I have a bright new brand coming. I've got new amplified messaging. I've halved the workload that I'm going to be doing within my business, in the sense that I'm just simplifying it. I have not only been holding so much space for so many clients, but I've also been running a new event every single month. And now I'm going to stop doing that. I'm just running one event and mastering it and doing that on repeat. And having an automated one as well, which is going to, mean I don't have to be so constantly back to back doing things. And I probably don't realize how much I've been holding, to be honest. And no regrets, nothing's been wrong. It's just all of a sudden, it's not going to help me get to the next level. But it certainly helped me to get to this level, which is pretty fucking good in my eyes. And so I want you to know that whilst I'm saying all of this, nothing I have done up until this point has been wrong. There's no regrets, there's no mistakes, there's none of that. It's just that what got me here won't get me there. It's as simple as that. And so that's what I'm changing right now. And if you want to be along for the ride, then like, follow, subscribe, message me, join my world. And all I can say, if you're a client of mine listening right now, is watch this fucking space, because the inside of my programs, if you like them now, you're going to love them very soon, because things are getting easier for you. They're getting easier for me, which means it gets easier for you. It's going to be better and newer and more fucking phenomenal than ever before. And if you want to be in that space at this price point and have that grandfathered and locked in and have the one-on-one support, honestly, like, if you're not a client, like, come DM me now, or I promise you'll regret it, because I'm increasing my prices, I'm removing inclusions, I'm changing things behind the scene. And if you want to be in the works of that whole journey, like, you want to be here, because I'm telling you, this business is scaling now. Like, it was already scaling, but it's certainly scaling now. And I'm just so excited for my clients, because they're getting great results now. I can't wait to see what's going to happen when I've just simplified the fuck out of everything for them as well. So I'm so excited. It's a lot of work. And what I'm hoping is the next time I do this episode next month, that all of this has been executed and everything's okay. That's where I'm at. I love you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. I really, really mean it when I say I would love for you to share this episode or let me know your feedback. Please leave a review on Apple, what is it called? Apple Podcast review or whatever. Like, I would appreciate that as well. If you're on Spotify, just hit the stars, how many you want to review it. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you next week. Although I can't see each one of you, I know you're there because of the downloads we see each week, and I appreciate your presence immensely. If something in this episode resonated with you, I'd be thrilled to hear about it. Connect with me on Instagram at Sofia Bernardi. Share your key takeaways or simply say hello. Your thoughts mean the world to me. Remember, it's your feedback that keeps this show going. Until next time, take care.